Good morning, good evening, and welcome to this week's live craft and chat where we laugh and chat. I mean, we do that too, but we craft and chat live. I should possibly run through this at least once before the stream starts, shouldn't I? So this week I came to some realizations about a project I was working on, and I realized it is not going to cut it. And I really... sometimes when you've been working on a project and you just love everything about it, and then you realize just one really important factor, which is it's not going to cut it for what you were wanting to do. And I came to that realization about a project. So today we're going to be talking about that a little bit. In my cups today, because my throat keeps going in and out of frog zone, so I thought I should warn you. I do have tea, I have some coffee, and I have water. Okay. So let me know in the chat, have you ever worked on a project and you've gotten through put in quite a few hours into it and then just realized this isn't going to do it. I can't make this do what I want it to do. And you have to just decide to frog it. Let me know in the chat. So I have been working on a couple of projects this week in between, all my other work. One thing has been my muscle burrow. I say it wrong every time. My hat, which I am just getting down to the final little bit. I've got about 5 more grams to work before we start the decrease. When it first told me I was only going to get 40 centimeters out of this yarn for the hat, I thought, that's going to make a little equal hat. And so I was a bit disappointed, but as I'm working along, it's still going to be a little equal hat, but it's not going to be as small as I thought it was. So I'm happy with this. This is not the project that I'm going to be frogging, thank goodness, because this would upset me if I had to frog this much work, especially with knitting, honestly. I'm a bit slow with knitting. No, the project I'm going to frog today, are you ready for it, is this one. I absolutely love how it feels. I love the colors. The size is right. There's nothing wrong with it per se, other than that one little, that spot that we know is there. That's not what's making me frog it. What's making me frog it is I've realized how heavy this one little piece is. And this is about 1/6 of the total weight of what's supposed to be a lightweight t-shirt, like a single layer t-shirt. And I really want this in a shirt. I really do. But I also know where I live is not going to allow for a heavyweight shirt. So this shirt that I'm wearing today, I don't wear it in summer. It's already too thick, too clingy, and it is too hot to wear in summer. So I like very thin, lightweight t-shirts in summer. It is very hot here. And not just hot, but it's also very humid. And so add all those things in together, I will not wear this. I know I'm going to get through it. I'm going to have a beautiful t-shirt, but I will never wear it because I'll always go to grab it, go like I did with this one, go to grab it and go, it's too thick. And even today, this would still be too thick for today. And it's quite cool here today. It's like, when you've got that beautiful temperature that you just like, I love this temperature. That's where we're at today so far. And it is currently 23 degrees here with only 57% humidity, which I'm loving. So this thickness of a t-shirt will be too thick for here, for me. Now, I know plenty of you that would be like, that'd be fine. I'd wear that, but I won't. And so I'm still talking myself into frogging it because to get this much into this project, it took some time. There's quite a few hours in there. Let's have a look in the chat here. Bianca says many, many times. I started one of those last night. Oh gosh, Bianca. Francis says, good morning all. Thanks to the YouTube notification. Otherwise, I forget what day it is. Holiday brain. Oh my gosh. Holly says, I'm frogging my niece's wedding blanket because I did the calculations and realized it was going to take me 160 hours to finish it. Yeah, I have a shawl that took me 60 hours. And part of that is because at the time I was a very slow knitter. But it was also my first beaded lace project. So there was a few things that went into that additional time. But even now, if I worked out that something was going to take me 60 hours to make, I'd have to really think about it. But 160 hours, that is intense, especially if you just straight up don't have 160 hours before that deadline. That's a big one. Let's see, all the time, I just see it as part of the process. It's just as important to find out what you don't like and find out what you love. Absolutely. And this is the thing. You are 100% right. It is part of the process. So especially those of us who go in and use different yarns, different, like, grab bits and pieces of different patterns and put them together. Those of us that are sort of stirring the pot, like, I'll have a bit of this pattern and a bit of that pattern, I'll have this yarn that's not the weight of the pattern, stir. Those of us that do that, we will hit this more often. We really will. But I've actually bought patterns, the yarn that the pattern said, and realized, no, I'm not going to wear this. So sometimes it comes down to, I'm going to need to wear like a top under it. And the thought of wearing 2 layers in this heat is just like awful. But in saying that, I do have one of the issues that I have. Now this is a personal issue. One of the issues that I have is quite often my my like little spaghetti strap singlets. What are they called? Cami tops. They're either they're either meant to be snug, like, because they're like shapewear, or they are made out of fabric that, like, I don't like, that like doesn't breathe. And I've got 2 that I absolutely love. One of them's a bit too small right now, but the other one I still wear. And I think if I could just find some more thinner, lighter, softer layers that weren't figure hugging, I think that would work. Yeah. Knitspin Girl says, it's amazing just how long I can continue on something knowing it's not going to work out. Maybe it'll block out. No, that's just a river in Egypt. Yeah, I would say it's not a t-shirt for the subtropics for me. Now, I know full well there'd be plenty of other people that would be very happy to wear this thickness of shirt. And so, but for me, it's not going to work. I could repurpose it into a rug. I don't want to though. It'd be if to make the weight of a rug, like to make the length of a rug, it would be way too. I think it would be too heavy. It would be beautiful though. I'm like, maybe I could, because like I've already got the width. This is the width of a rug right here, of a knee, like a knee rug. I've already got the width. I could just keep going, but I honestly don't think I'd have enough yarn to get that far. Bianca says it's hard to find the balance between lightweight yarn and coverage. Yes, it is. And so I think it's going to come down to partly me finding some other layers that I'm really comfortable in, so that I can just toss, something cute over the top. I think that will come down to part of it. Hey, Doug, how you going? And so let me know in the chat, do you have some favorite layering pieces that you wear under your crochet tops or your knit tops to sort of, make you feel more comfortable in them? Doug's come in at the funniest time. Hey, Doug, what layering tops do you wear? But yeah, so sometimes we just have to just decide and accept that it's just not going to work out and that it's just time to frog it. Now I've got the trusty ball winder here, but what I think I'm going to start with, rather than ball winding straight up, I think I'm just going to pull back into like the separate piles, because luckily I should be able to do that. It's so disappointing, honestly. There's actually quite a few hours in this piece already. And I love how it looks. I love the edgings. I love everything about it, except for the fact that it will not work for its intended purpose. So it's got to go, right? I'm sitting here still talking myself into it, right? Bianca's written here, I have a couple of sheath dresses. Yeah, I've got one as well that I absolutely love, but it's too small now. Can't you just wear it as a scarf? No, I wouldn't wear it as a scarf. I don't wear scarves for a start. Yeah, no, it's going to go because these colors look fantastic together, and I would love to have them ready to go into something else, whether it's just a crochet blanket or something like that. I don't know. Good morning, Leanne. It's great to see you. Great to see you. Yeah, I don't think I wouldn't wear, I don't wear scarves, full stop. I always wear cowls. And I suppose I could turn it into a cowl. I could stitch it. It'd be really obvious that there's a big old seam there because I didn't do the edges in a way that would hide that. But again, it would still be too heavy for me, even as a cowl. Yeah. I think it's just got to go. I think it's just got to go, which is just really hard for me to say and admit. Okay, so let's set the colors up for best success of not tangling, as they are sitting here fully tangled already, and get ready to frog. So that's there. Maybe, like, I only have 2 ball winders that I can find. If I had 3, I could set all 3 up and just slowly frog out. But I'm going to do it this way. So, what are you doing today? One thing that I did do was, I'm not sure if you noticed the difference in the quality of the overhead camera here, but I did go in and uninstall and reinstall the Logitech software yet again, because if I leave it open, it's perfectly fine. Everything is awesome. The second I close it, I can't open it another time. So every time I want to use this webcam and I need to adjust anything, I have to uninstall the software and reinstall the software, which is so annoying to me. It really gets my goat, because one of the reasons why we go Mac is because it's supposed to just work, right? Is it a Mac issue? Is it a Logitech issue? I can't answer that question. I don't know. I just don't know the answer. So, Bianca's knitting on her Musselburgh. Excellent. I'll be doing some of that after we get this done. This will frog down faster than we think. Now that I've, made the decision and I'm actually, doing it. Let's go under here. It's going to go quicker. And I wish I could crochet the rows as fast as I'll frog them out. Let's just say that as well. Feels so weird doing this. Knitspin Girl says socks. I know, you're all shocked. I'm definitely shocked. I am so shocked. Anyone else in the chat shocked that Knitspin Girl's working on socks right now? Just type in shocked if you are surprised. So, but yeah, it's a really hard decision. So sometimes it'll come down to the fit of the garment or the feel of the texture of the yarn. But like, I have to look at it this way, and we can all look at it differently, obviously, but I look at it this way. I've only got so much crafting time in a week, right? And I've only got so many resources like to make things with. And while I do have, you know, a decent stash, let's not beat around the bush here. There's a decent stash. When it comes to the time to realize that a particular project's not going to work, I can't just finish it and stick it in the back of the cupboard or hope that somebody else will get some use out of it or something like that. Especially considering, you know, I was planning on a garment. Now, just because I'm frogging this particular garment in this particular yarn doesn't mean I'm not going to be able to find another garment that I could make this with. I honestly think that if I knitted something like this with this particular yarn, if I did like a linen stitch knitted top, it would be like at least a third thinner than this. And then I could have the top in the beautiful triple colored stripes. It just wouldn't be crocheted. It'd be a knitted top. And that's not a bad thing. So I love the colors. I love how it looks. I love how the 3 different colors work together. But realizing that they're just not going to work for me in a crochet project. Bianca says not linen stitch, it'd probably be too warm as well. Possibly, but or I could just do straight knit stripes. So just a stripe of each color. It would be a bit like, you know, I'd either need to do it flat and work in the same method, which is pick up the color at each end, or do some sort of helixical construction. I mean, you know, making sure that all the yarn carrying is happening on the inside of the garment, not the outside. So yeah, there'd be ways. There'd be ways. Stripes, helical. Thank you, not helixical. Thank you. I knew I had it wrong the second it came out of my mouth. Helical single stripe rows would be nice. I think so too. And I know that this 4-ply cotton works up lovely as a knit as well. So I'll definitely have to, if anyone's got any sort of helical patterns that they can share or tips, I would love to hear about it. I've not done any helix knitting, I don't believe. At least not intentionally anyway. I mean, sometimes you're like, oh, is that what that technique's called? You know, every now and again that crops up. But yes, this is not going to work for me, unfortunately, because it's beautiful. And it does. It feels weird pulling out something that I keep saying, how nice is this? What about the Tolster tea? I'll have to have a look at that. Let me get this done so that I can't change my mind. Because, you know, that happens. And then we'll go searching for some patterns. Francis says, I don't know what helical means. It's a technique that I've seen. I mean, I'm probably not the best person to describe it, let's be honest. But it's a technique that it's something that I've seen that makes it so that your stripes feel more natural. If that makes any sense, like not so like harsh. But who is it? One of the girls in our IRL group, Casey, I think she made a dress that was helical. Anyway, you might need to search it because I'm awful at describing techniques I don't know how to do, and I don't know how to do it. So I don't know the real benefits of it other than it just looks really nice. Oh, Bianca says it's really great. I use that when making a top where the yarn was the same batch number and all, but so very different. And it sort of just blended them together much nicer rather than the harsh edges that you would get when you realize that your yarns were different. And I also think yarn companies shouldn't be allowed to use the same batch number on a different batch. Am I alone in that? Like, seriously. It's, yeah. That's why we have dye lots and batch numbers, right? So a dye lot is a colorway. It's how it was dyed. The batch number is which batch it was in. You can have the same dye lot. No. Or is that the other? Yeah, that's right. That's right. You can have the same dye, but in different batches it could look different. They have to be different. Unless my brain's totally screwed up without not enough coffee this morning yet. And I've gotten that backwards. I didn't get that backwards, did I? Let me know in the chat. Please reassure me that my brain is functioning as I rip out this project that's taken many hours out of the last few weeks. Part of those hours were just me working out colors and stuff like that as well. It wasn't all the crochet or this piece. There was the sample piece that I did before this. Yeah, so helical is probably also a little bit spiral. I think they're very similar, except a bit different. There's some differences. And I love that you don't have to mess around with the jogless striping. Like, I love that we've got some alternative methods to make things jogless, but like, how often do they really work properly without being visible at all? Like, not often for me. It might be just how I knit, but I don't get them as nicely as I'd like. Let's have a look at so a little bit of housekeeping. This Saturday is a productivity stream. So we have Good Friday, then we have productivity stream Saturday, Easter Sunday, and Easter Monday. And we're going to hopefully go and give my mum a visit, but she's a little poorly at the moment, so she wants me to give her a double check before we head on our way. So we're thinking of doing that over this weekend as well. I really do hope we get to see her, but if she's not, you know what it's like. Sometimes you really want to see them, but if they're not up to it, they're not up to it. It's basically invisible on both sides. Oh, yeah. And so you got to love that. You've got to love that. Now, because I'd be doing 3 yarns, there'll be a little bit of yarn carrying, so I may not quite end up with it as invisible. But I don't mind. You know, it will help me work out which is the inside and which is the outside. Which is not as hard with knitting as it is with crochet. But yeah, so I'll definitely be looking at some helical tops to work in these 3 colours. Here we go. And I do have to keep untwisting it because, oh, and it is IKEA week as well. Is it? Is it? Are you sure? It is IKEA week? No. Oh, it's the 17th. It could well be. Let me look. Let me look at the calendar. It is. It's IKEA week as well. Oh my goodness. Okay. Lucky you told me. I would not have gone to IKEA tonight. So IKEA tonight, productivity stream Saturday. You guys are going to get so sick of me. Now, the other thing I will be doing is I'll be running some polls just to see if you guys are really into the productivity streams, because they are a big chunk out of my week, and if you guys aren't enjoying them, then I can use that time and do something else. But if you are enjoying them, I'll keep doing them. Oh, you were asking the question. Yeah, no, it is. Apparently, you got me to look at the calendar, and today is the third Thursday of the month. Wow. Oh, there are some new chat commands. I actually haven't added them to the list yet. Um, they are soapbox and rant. So exclamation soapbox, exclamation rant. I really need to get in and add those to the list. Um, you love the productivity streams? Game Widow says she's going to be using it for Bendigo prep. Awesome. Oh yeah, and I'll definitely be running one this week for sure. But I was just thinking about going forward. What do you think, Kelly? You like those two? Finding a good soapbox jiffy was tricky because it just kept bringing up like all the little go-karts. And I probably could have saved this one for productivity stream, but and it was actually messing with my head a little bit in the living room. Leanne says, if you are in the Discord gang, in the everyday chat, I posted an exclamation of photos of the knitting stripe you chatted about. It's interesting. Oh, thanks, Leanne. Yeah, so I think that I would like these three colors together, but in something else. Like just not this crochet stitch. It was just that little bit. While I kept it nice and soft and flowy, it was just a bit too dense for a top. I have to keep telling myself this. Like, you're pulling this out, Chantel, because you wouldn't wear it, and you know you wouldn't wear it. Got lots of squiggles. Squiggles, squiggly squigglies. Oh dear. So I was having a think the other day about crafts and stuff. You know, how I've got a few. Like, definitely. And if there was one new craft I could do, what would it be? Let me know in the chat. If you could choose another craft that you could learn how to do and do successfully, then what would you have a go at? And I really like the idea of lead lighting. I was watching a guy who was over on what was it called? Twitch. And he used to do live lead lighting. I don't know if he still does. But I was thinking about him the other day, and I don't know why it jumped into my head. But admittedly, this guy was insanely talented drawer, so that's a big plus right there. Um, he could draw all the stuff out, and then he would draw out these big line things, and then cut the glass in to match it. And anyway, did beautiful work, and I just thought, I wish I could do something like that. That would be amazing. And pottery, spinning pots on a wheel. But that's a big one. That's because it's not even just getting the clay and getting a wheel. You got to fire it, and then you got to, paint it and stuff. I'm not good at any of that stuff, but I love things that can be around and useful that you can see that you made. Like I always have a little smile in winter when all the hand crocheted like blankets and stuff are out on the couches and everyone's under a blanket that I made, and it always makes me sort of feel like I did something that was useful because I've kept the family warm. But yeah, I don't know why I was thinking about that the other day. I just was. I was wondering if you guys ever think about the same thing. Holly would like to learn spinning. Francis said one that actually paid an income. Well, that would be nice too, wouldn't it? Like to be able to do the craft that you love and it to be your full-time job, and for it to create a comfortable income that you can actually live off. Wouldn't that be nice? Holly says, I've actually always wanted to learn how to do bookbinding or get back into ceramics. Yeah. Leanne said, resin pouring. I need tons more practice, but I love it. Francis says, I'm from a crafty family, so I've actually tried many different crafts. See, I'm from a really artistic family who all like paint and sculpt and stuff like that, and I can't do any of those. We've worked that out. Sorry, Dad. But yeah, whereas both my brothers can paint and draw, I don't know if they can sculpt. And also they're like, we're all pretty musical. Like my dad's a bit like Abby, which is like hand them an instrument and not long afterwards you're hearing actual music come out of it. And like with my dad, it doesn't even matter. Someone handed him a trombone. Next thing you know, he's got it going and it sounds fantastic. And the guy who handed it to him was like ticked off because apparently getting some of the runs that Dad was doing is actually quite technically difficult, and he just sort of did it. Abby's a bit the same. Sort of ticks me off that she's just so good at so many instruments, and like for her it's just like, oh, whatever. I'm just like, oh my god, you know what I would give to have that talent. But yeah, it's interesting. Like I grew up in a musical and artistic household, and while I can carry a tune and nut something out on like the piano or a guitar, it's hard. It doesn't come naturally. I really have to sit down and just concentrate on that. Like for me to learn a song on a guitar, it is weeks and weeks and weeks of practice. Whereas my brother Daniel listens to it on the radio and he's got it. My brother Luke's about the same, listens to it on the radio and he's got it. Abby's not far off that. I've heard her listen to songs on YouTube and next thing you know, she's playing them on the piano or the violin. You're like, oh, okay. Cool. I'm so happy that you can do that. Knitspin Girls is weaving. She would like to be successful at that. Game Widow says, my family's full of craftspeople. My grandfather was a French polisher. My uncle's a French polisher, and I've got another uncle who's a potter. My great-grandmother and aunt were crocheters and knitters for David Jones and Myers. Another aunt was a milliner. Yeah, I've got an aunt who was a seamstress. Yeah, like isn't it funny? Like you just watch all the beautiful things that they can make. I loved watching my Uncle Dennis work. I've got a real thing about woodworking. I probably would like to learn how to build furniture, actually. I could do anything, like even with like, because I've got body restrictions around building furniture now, couldn't hold everything together and lift everything onto a table to save myself. But I would love to like build. Like I've got this visualize it, like I've got this idea in my head for this wall here behind me, and I want to have like a big set of like, I mean, they're going to be IKEA shelves because that's the extent of my abilities, but a big set of IKEA shelves where I can lay out all the blankets and stuff, so all our blankets can, like, all the handmade blankets can come out of the linen cupboard, which will give the linen cupboard more room, but they could all sit and store in here, as well as having plenty of room for all the other stuff. I think I would love that. Like, it would have double duty. It would store and be like a background and have all my like lights and everything on it. And, you know, yeah, they do, Leanne. They have a beautiful natural talent. And I love to see it. And I'm so glad it exists in the world. I really am. It'd be nice to have a natural talent that's something other than talking. Oh, we're nearly at the end of this. Oh, this is really disappointing. But yeah, I've been one of those people that like I have to work at something, and I can get it. Like I can nut it out and I can make it happen. Oh, we're right at the end of that one. I'll put that tail over there so I don't lose it. And you know, I can make things work, and I can get to a certain level of success with things. But it's never natural. It's always like I've really got to want to do it to make it happen. Like, you know, my first spinning was hilarious. Whereas there was another lady in that group, she was a natural. Even the spinning teacher was just like, "Are you sure you haven't done this before?" She's like, "I am 100% positive I have never done this before." But I still enjoy it. Like I enjoy like for me, like I sound like I'm such a negative Nancy. No, I actually enjoy the learning process. It'd just be nice every now and again if something just came a little bit easier. That there was something that I could just go, this is the thing that I'm really good at. But, you know, not everybody gets to have that. That's what makes natural talent so special. Alrighty, this next one's going to be trickier because it's got all the stitch markers. Are they just going to pop off? Nope, of course not. I put it through the loop. Go me. Nope, again, I'm very talented at this. Let's make sure that we can't just pop any off. They all have to be manually removed. All right. We are nearly at the end of this frogging. I can't change my mind. Can't change my mind. It is done. Boom. Last one is done. Oh my goodness. Wow. Alrighty. Well, I got some stitch markers back, so that's cool. Where's my little baggie? They can go in there. That one as well. Louis is losing his mind over something or other. Right, that hook is gone. We don't need that out for anything. I'm going to have a sip of my tea. All right, now we do need to wind these up. And I can't remember, does this winder make the table shake like a crazy thing? If it does, we'll just wind the purple to start with because it's the smallest. Yeah, I think it shakes the camera off the top of my head. I'm very sorry. I'll try to be gentle. I'm like, is it shaking the camera or am I just moving? winder. It's not making a ball. What's going on here? Oh, hang on. There's something janky going on with the ball winder. Hello, Linus Tech Tip Screwdriver. You're going to come in handy, aren't you? All right. I don't know if that solved the problem or not. Nope. My ball winder is not... I'm going to go out and get Kato. Because this is not right. Alright, I'm going to pop out and grab Kato. I'm going to have to pull this apart and work out what's wrong with it. It has been sitting in storage, so it's probably something is pushed out of alignment here. Alright, let's see if that made a difference. Nope. Something janky going on there. Well, that's disappointing. I'll be back. I'm going to grab Kato. Alrighty, I'm back. I got Kato. Yeah, 14 guesses as to who we know in our group who can just make garment after garment after garment. Did anybody else end up grabbing a Kato, just out of curiosity? Bug on me. Stop. I'm going to add a bit more tension here. Just because we've got so much in the way of squiggly worms. All right, well, it can go off and do its own thing. Francis, yes, that's an electric ball winder. I've got my power bank on it just so I don't have to mess around with, oops, I've got squiggly worms as worming. What I might do is actually move the yarn down to the floor so I've got more time to untangle the snaffles. Because there'll be a few, because the squiggles can't help themselves but to attach to each other. Alrighty, little pile on the floor for you. Bianca says Kerry would beat her, and she does the colour work as well. I don't know. I think you guys are pretty close together. That's Kerry over on the Discord. Whose dumb idea was it not to wind it straight off? Grr. This might be a better job for Saturday. I'll move over to the knitting. I'll get the purple done. I'll persevere with this one. And I will then do the others on Saturday. Maybe we can have a look at some of these helix patterns that you guys suggested. Alrighty. We're nearly there. There we go. Trying to get the tangles out. Alrighty, we've got a few meters of non-tangled bits Um, oh, Game Widows, are you kidding me right now? You mentioned the Kato and the ads just jumped straight in. That's so weird. You know, especially when they say, "Oh no, we're not listening. We're not listening to everything." It's like, really, really, you're not. I'm like, "Oh look, it's been going a little while. Surely I'm going to have a snag in a minute." Here it comes. Oh no, it detangled itself. Oh, that's what I wanted. I wanted it to detangle it all by itself. Let gravity do its job. There we go. Not kidding. Goodness me. But yeah, sometimes making the decision to end a project is difficult. You know, there's so many pros to it. There's so many like the fabric's nice, the colors look great. It's not gonna do what I want. But sometimes the fabric ends up being like that's not what I thought it was gonna be, or the colors just don't work together. Even sometimes when designers put colors together, sometimes the colors don't work together how you like colors to work together. Um, Leanne, thank you so much for the buy me a coffee. I will actually just pop up my little if you're watching on your TV or something, you could scan this on your phone. Um, oh, hang on, there we go. Um, and yeah, just a coffee really helps. Um, you'd be surprised, but I know a lot of you are channel members as well, so you know you guys know the drill. Um, Okay. I'm like, I'm waiting. You know, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop for the next big like to come up the line. It's got to happen. We can't have cleared one snarl and then the rest of it just to wind perfectly. It just couldn't work that way, right? I'm gonna have a sip of tea with my other. Oh no, I feel something pulling. We'll see. What I might do, if I can, is zoom out a little. Can I zoom out a little? There you go. You get a bit more of what's going on. The colours are all off because of the blue of the Kato. You get to see a little bit more of the table. Um, yes. We are nearly through the squiggles. We're very soon we'll be coming up to the dredges of the end of that ball that was an absolute mess as well. Oh, we are. We're in the ball now. No longer squiggles, just the saggy sack that's the end of like a ball when you've been working from the middle, like the mess. That's where we're in now. Yeah, I'm really surprised, Leanne. Like, I love this thing. Like, I was really dubious. I saw some really like individually hit and miss reviews of the Kato, and I think once you accept that it's just slow, um, it's actually great. And I'll be really honest, even with my Nancy's nitpicks, not Nancy's nitpicks, my Nancy's knickknacks, big heavy duty ball winder, I would still have it on slow because that way you can walk away from it, work on it, but you could see something coming up that was going to be bad and you could actually turn it off before it became a nightmare or before it snapped or something. I actually don't have an issue with slow motorized ball winders. I think they actually. Oh, here we go. We've got a snag. I think they make a nicer ball. And even when I'm manually ball winding, when I ball wind fast, I end up with not a great ball and have to redo the ball. Now, quite often I plan to redo the ball, so I will do the first one fast just to get it out of the way, and then I'll do the next one nice and even and slow. Oh, that's a little knot. That's all right. That'll be fine. That one will come out later. Just some bits caught up with each other. Not so much snags, but just tangled. Now it's snagged. Let's get this little... We're so close to the end, you guys. We're so close. Let me know what you're working on while I get this thing done. Oh, thank you, Leanne, for popping in my Kato affiliate link. I appreciate that. Now, just to be clear, Kato did not send me this ball winder. I paid for this ball winder. Me and Kelly and I think Melissa, we pitched in together to save on postage. But we got it in a sale, so I didn't pay full price because we bought it in a sale. But then after I got it, I applied because I was just like, I actually really like this thing. I'm going to apply for the affiliate program for it, and I got in. So this is not one of those instances where they sent it to me and I'm like, oh, this thing is great, when it's actually like trash. Now, it's got its limits. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's perfect by any means, but I think in the scheme of the costs of electric ball winders and the fact that I can run it off a power brick, which I love, by the way, because it means I don't have to be near a power point. I can just, I don't even have it clamped to a table right now, like, I will say I think it struggles a little bit on my Swift, but for this sort of work, it's fine. For like reballing yarn, I think it's great. There we go. We've made it to the end. All right. I'll put this aside and we can work on this one. There we go. There's our ball. With our extra squigglies in the middle and our niceies on the outside. Pop that over there. And I'll pop this over here. Power bank out of the way. And get the squiggles over there. There we go. All right. I think I need some coffee. Got some hair on it. Good job, me. You know when you make yourself a good coffee or a good cup of tea? I've actually managed both today, which I'm shocked about. Because sometimes I don't make myself a good coffee. Alrighty, let me zoom this in a bit. I'm going to work on, so this is my Musselburgh. I've got about 5 more grams of the yarn to work on. I wanted to measure where I was up to, because they reckon I need to get to 40 centimeters. Like, so I'm doing both things. I've gone with the testing out the their spreadsheet. So I plugged in how much yarn I had and all that sort of stuff, and it's told me 40 centimeters and then start decreasing. But I also know I use 10 grams for the increase. So I know I need 10 grams for the decrease. I use like 9 grams for the increase. So, but I've got a feeling I may get just a little more than the 40 because I'm already at 42. So I might get maybe to 43 or 44. Like every centimeter helps. Oh, I'm so happy with it. And this is my hand dyed sock yarn. This is Colson, which was my favorite of my hand dyed sock yarns. That's why it was still here. Most of my hand dyed sock yarns have been used. There's a couple of little bits around. So yes, but yes, this is Colson, and this is the Musselburgh hat, Musselburgh. I think it's Musselburgh. Kelly says I used an entire 100-gram ball, and mine is, excuse me, a perfectly slouchy fit. Well, I've got 95 grams. And I'm hoping for just a little slouch, but considering this has got to get turned inside itself and do a roll up, I'm not hopeful, honestly. Oh, it's a skull cap if you fold over the brim. Okay, all right, I understand now. Okay. Does it stay on your head well enough without it being folded over? Because I'm like, I look at it and I'm like, there's no ribbing. This is a new style of hat for me to knit. I've always knitted a band or ribbing onto a hat, and so like, or it's got a fold over brim. I've never considered not wearing the fold over brim. I've always felt it needed folding over. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. But we've just got, you know, my red shirt is reflecting onto my arm, so it looks like I'm sunburned. Good job, me, for forgetting about that. Last time I wore a red singlet, it did the same thing, and I don't know why I didn't think of that. It's like, maybe I was like, I wonder why I haven't worn this shirt for a live stream. Now I know why. Holly says I made my niece one, and it stays on her head just fine. I did. Yeah, it fits really comfortably. I did the XL so it's snugly without being tight. I can't remember what I'm doing. I think I'm doing the XL. I'd have to check my notes, but I think I'm doing the XL. Or I might be doing like a large, but I accidentally did too many repeats of the increase and ended up with like the XL number of stitches. Do you know how this little finger over here, it bounces backwards and forwards? I've tried so many ways to stop myself from doing that. It's just how I knit now. It's just part of it for me. And this is my very classy #1 stitch marker with an extra stitch marker on it to remind me that this is the start of the round. It is on Ravelry, I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe I did put it in Ravelry. It hasn't had a photo update in a little bit, but I do believe it's there. Yeah, so I'm thinking if I knit to like 10 or 11 grams left on the ball, it should be enough to get me through. Should being the operative word. Because I used 9 grams on the increases. So I figured if I use 10 or 11 for the decreases, that, you know, I'd have plenty. I wouldn't run out. But basically when it said I weighed it at 40 centimeters and I still had nearly 20 grams left. I was like, I'm just gonna risk it for the biscuit, risk it for the extra few centimeters, because I really think I need it. Kelly, what length did yours end up being with your 100-gram skein? So I'm using 3mm needles, 100 grams. I think when I did the measure out, I was getting 7 or 8 stitches. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was 7. Knitspin Girls Muscle Burrow. Yeah, what it is I'm like, I know that there's a particular way it gets pronounced, but then my brain goes, okay, you want to say Muscle Burrow, so it must be Musselburgh because you get it wrong. Except it's Musselburgh. And I don't know how many times I have to tell myself it's Musselburgh before my brain stops going, no, you get that wrong. So it must be Musselburgh. Oh, you end up with 58 centimeters long. Okay. All right. I'll be curious to see how I get, how long mine ends up being once I do it. Because I think I measured out my increases to where the increases were no longer visible here. I think I measured that out to be about 3 inches. Yep, so about 8.5 centimeters for the increased section. So if I can get to, so I may not make it to 50 centimeters. I don't think I'll make it to 50 centimeters, but I might make it to 44 or 45 and end up with about 52, 53 centimeters. That would be nice. Oh, you get it? You second guess yourself as well? Yeah. And yeah, that loop at the start, Kelly, so much easier. There's another pattern. It's a blanket. This starts with a circular cast on knitted in each square. What's it called? Vivid, I think. And I stopped doing it because of the cast on was so frustratingly hard that I just gave up on it. Whereas I think that I would actually just like it if I did it this way, the way that we did for this. And I believe I linked the video instructions that I used. See you later, Game Widows. Holly says, how sad, out of all the notes for my niece's final, the hat, I didn't write down the final length. Yeah, it's not sort of something you really think about. You're like, oh my gosh, I finished finally, yay. One thing I do have to remember to do is to go in and weave off the other end before I start the decreases. Actually, I'm like, I will do that before I start the decreases. What'll happen is I'll start the decreases and go, did I weave that end off? Did you guys all weave the end off on the other end, or did you just sort of leave it loose? You got an end going commando inside your hat there, swinging around. Yeah, because like I think I would need to do. I think it needs at least a little bit of work to tie it in so it doesn't come undone. Now you're all thinking about ends being all commando in your projects before they're woven in, aren't you? Kelly says, I did a bit of a weave in, but didn't bother cutting off. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do as well. Just weave it in a bit and not cut it off. I wonder if I've already done it. I may have already done it because I'm so efficient. Holly says she did the same as Kelly. Okay, well then I will do the same as you guys. I realized the other day I've only got like maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours of work left on this hat. And I should just get in and do it because it was just sort of sitting there like while I was staring at the other project, deciding what to do about it. I was just like, the amount of time I've stared at this hat, thinking I should knit that, it'd be done by now. So I'm just doing it. I might as well do it. Might as well just get it done while I'm thinking about other things. Kelly, did you weigh your yarn or anything before you started your decreases? Like how much yarn did you use and in your decrease end is where I'm trying to get to in my brain in that sentence? That was the question, really. And if anyone else happens to know how many grams of sock yarn they used to decrease down their hat. I could probably go trawling through your notes that you've got on Ravelry. Oh dear. We'll get there. We'll get there. I actually feel really a lot better that I've decided what to do with this. What to do with the hat? Not the hat. The top. Just finally, just going. You know what? No, I'm not going to like that. I was also thinking about like how bulky it'll be under my arms and stuff like that with such thick fabric, and I was like, no, I want something different. Same colors, but different. Kelly says, of course I did. I needed to leave 8 grams from the start, but I started decreasing at 8.4 and finished with 0.7, so I could have potentially done one more round, but the stress of yarn chicken, yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm like, yarn chicken terrifies me. So that's why I'm like, okay, I used 9 grams. I'll leave 10 or 11, and that way I don't have the stress of yarn chicken. And if I could have done one more round, while I'll be sad and think, oh, maybe I could pull it back and get that extra round in. I'm not going to. I'll just accept it and move on. And this Spin Girl says, I think the ones I did were around the 10 gram mark for each shaping end. Yep. And I know it'll vary from person to person and yarn to yarn and the needles they used and all that sort of stuff. I was just getting a rough idea. Like it's more about like how much you used at the start versus how much at the end. Sal said someone overslept. Who would that be, Sally? Who would be the oversleeper? I don't know. Tell you what, though, I found it very hard getting out of bed this morning. I really just wanted to just stay in there and, hang out with my blanket and my dog and my cat and just read and chillax. But I knew I couldn't. I needed to get up and fix this webcam. And go from there. I just find it really frustrating that every time I want to use it, I have to uninstall it and reinstall it. Oh, it doesn't help that I'm in pain. Oh gosh, Sal, I hope you get your pain sorted. Being in pain is awful. It'll go eventually. Oh, that's good. At least there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Oh, I'll just take that with me. Oh dear. I love this colorway. It was one of my first ones, and it was my favorite one. Coulson is one of my favorite characters in all the Marvel movies and stuff. And I love the first couple of seasons of Shield. It got a bit serious. But I liked it when it was just a bit more lighthearted and fun. Like the first couple of episodes cracked me up. And then I found out that some of the one-liner quirky things, they were not scripted. I was just like, that's fun. It's been a couple of weeks since I've worked on this top and I keep forgetting the pattern. Oh no, Francis. Goodness me. All right, I'm going to get to the end of this round and then I'm going to pull it through and check if I've woven in the end on the other end. And if not, weave it in. We'll also have a little way of the ball. Let's see how much we've got left to go. Because I don't want to play yarn chicken. Honestly, I really don't. I just want to make a hat. But I also don't want to waste any of the yarn. I'd rather use it up. I'm like, maybe if I run out, I could just pop a couple of rows of grey in the top. No one will know. Alrighty, we're nearly at the end. This is the end of the row as we know it. This is the end of the row as we know it. And I feel fine. Alrighty. Alrighty, I do an extra stitch past the end just so I don't lose my row marker. I'll do two. Alrighty, let's find the middle of the back. Don't feel like we've woven it in. Nope, definitely is not woven in. If I was a packet of end weaving needles, where would I be? Oh, hello. What? Why are you being all stretchy? Why are you a stretchy dog? You sit on your bed and I'll put your camera on. You're being all adorable. Are you being all adorable, Louie? Why are you being so adorable? your little face. Look at your little face. What do you want? What do you want? You go and get Abby out of bed if you want to go outside. Well, he can't get me to do it. I think Louis would like to go outside. You gonna sit on the bed? Sit on the bed. Come and sit on the bed. Like, no. No. No, I don't want to. Stop it. Stop staring at me like that. It's been girls sending you virtual scratches here, Louis. You've got some fans, big man, and you're not even going to sit on your chair that we've made extra comfy. No, he's left. He's going to try his luck elsewhere. Oh, he's gone back into Abby. I think he really does want to go outside, Abs. He's doing the pleading, like, please, somebody. I'm a good boy. All right. Some stitches woven in. Might trim it down a little. Poke, poke, poke. Weigh the ball. Whoop. 14. We've only used 2 grams. Could probably, so it's like a gram a row. Do another row and then I'll see where we're at. And that'll give me a better idea, won't it? I should have done that a long time ago. Let me just weigh that again so I've got the exact amount. $14.14. 14.14. We'll get around to the other side as fast as I can to see. I think Abby's taken Louis out. All right, we're coming up to the 4th marker. And if you like the idea of these 1, 2, 3, 4 markers, there's some left in my store. They are super useful if you're following patterns that have been written for like double pointed needles, but you want to use circulars. You still get to follow the needle 1, needle 2 instructions as we slide past needle 4. Oh, Francis, I have to take mine off because when I'm knitting, it counts my knitting and crocheting as steps. More crocheting, but yeah, it counts them as steps. So I have to take mine off when I'm working on stuff. So Abby had been lending me hers so we could see if my wrist reacted. And I wore hers for about 2 weeks. And then, was it yesterday? Yesterday, Abby comes home with one for me, saying it's an early Mother's Day present. Because A, she wanted hers back, and B, she said it was a no-brainer because it's the first time one of these watches hasn't reacted to my skin. So what other watch was I going to go with? So I now have my own. It's not even an Abby reject. It's my own one. Now we did trade bands because she wanted a new band. All right, we're at 1. We had 2 stitches on. We might have had a couple more than 2 on, but let's see how much yarn is used in a round. 13.7, so 0.4 of a gram. Yeah. Okay. I still got a few more rows I could add. Okay. Yeah, it was very, very generous gift. I was very surprised by it, and I try not to cry because Abby feels bad when I cry, and when she does something nice for me. But I was very overwhelmed because, you know, I was hoping at best she'd upgrade hers and then I might get hers. But no, that's not what happened. So yeah. I've got the new watch. But I have to say I really do like the Apple sports bands. Being able to just adjust it easily throughout the day as my wrist swells and goes back down again. Makes life a lot easier. And to be able to take it on and off easily when I'm crafting. So it doesn't so much do it when I'm knitting, but when I'm crocheting, definitely picks up the steps. So you know how there's that meme floating around that like knitting and crocheting use like 32 muscles, and so, you know, therefore, you know, you're getting a workout every time you knit and crochet. I was just like, that can't be real, right? So I did some Googling and it's absolutely real. And it's not even just the muscles in your hands that you use, your muscles in your hands and your arms. It's also like your like abs and stuff, keeping you, you know, sitting upright and concentrating, and the, you know, your neck tilt and all this sort of stuff actually helps. So I was like, maybe it is a workout. Maybe it just is. Yeah, abs is a good egg. She is. Every now and again, you just want to, like, you know, be like, oh my God, what are you doing? But I would say 98% of the time, she's a good egg. All right. I'm going to have a sip of my Bevragino when I make it to the next beginning of the round. I honestly thought that that I get this finished in today's stream. But I'm just getting so many more rounds out of the ball than I anticipated. You know, I had the pattern here ready with the decrease instructions and everything. Well, I've got the device with the pattern on it just here and it's charged. I'll have to open it up and find the patterns. Knitting burns around 90 calories an hour, not including extra for style, conviction, and retrieving a ball of yarn from under the couch from the yarn harlot. Oh, there you go. I'm very much looking forward to my new project bag when it arrives. That I'm getting from the Crystal. Is it Crystal Cat? Oh my gosh, Crystal. Oh my, I feel like such a ninny now. Hang on a second, let me look. Crystal Cat Stitchery, yeah. Because how we've designed it is so you can actually have your project yarn hanging off your wrist and work while you walk. So, Francis says I should put my watch on exercise mode when I'm crocheting. I think I was planning on having a sip of my coffee and I had tea instead. My coffee is still hot. So I've been doing this thing, as more so for the live streams than for anything else, is when I make my tea and coffee, I actually heat the milk up as well. So like I still put in the same amount of milk, but it's hot milk. So it's actually like a bit hotter than I'd usually drink it, like at the start. But by the time I get to the end of the stream, it's still the perfect temperature. Because A, the Yetis, and B, the milk didn't cool anything down when I poured it into the hot drinks. So, yeah. And I was reading something this week. My brain just dropped it. It's gone now. I'll have to remember that again. I was reading something. It wasn't so much an article, but it was a story, like an opinion thing. I can't remember. Anyway, on a different, it'll come back. It'll come back. Bye, Deb. Have a good one. But anyway, has anyone else heard of Knit Stars? Like it's a show, of some description. Every now and again I hear about it, but I've never seen it. Like, is it on like a TV network or is it a YouTube video or something? I don't know anything about it, but I know Franklin Habit is a knit star this year, and so I was just like, ooh, how do I even get to watch what that is? Like, what is it? So if anyone knows who the knit stars are, it seems to be there's different knit stars each year. I would be very curious to know more about it. Oh, it's online classes. Oh, I thought it was something else. I mean, that's cool. That's very cool that there's some great online classes. I'd love to do a class with Franklin Habit. He'd crack me up, I reckon. Also, I really loved his Craftsy classes. Even though Craftsy stopped being friendly to its creators. It's like anything, you know, they started out good, then they ended up selling to another company and the other company didn't look after their people as well. So, oh my gosh, I was considering buying the season, but it's around 600 Australian dollars. Oh my, and that's like the one season, excuse me, one season of Knit Stars. Whoa. I mean, these creators, these designers, it's one of those things where you'd easily spend 150 Australian dollars to $200 to do one of their workshops. But in one hit, that's ouchy. And you don't like, do you know anything about what they're teaching, or is it just like these are the net stars? And I'm gonna have to go and hit the website up and look at it, because I couldn't justify spending that sort of money. Not at the moment, but and it's not that it's not, it's one of those things. It's not that it's not worth it. It's just that it's out of my budget. You know what I mean? Like I really try very hard to delineate that, because there's so many people who are like, oh, that's too expensive. Oh, that's, you know, that's unrealistic or whatever. But unfortunately, it's just unrealistic for you at this point in time. It's not unrealistic for other people. And it's also like these like creators and designers all have to be paid. And well, I'm assuming they get paid. I don't even know. But there's the you know, hosting videos is not free. The only place it's free to host videos is YouTube. And if you're running something like this, it's not on YouTube. It'll be on its own thing. There'll be probably like Vimeo files or something like that, not free to host there. You know, and so like I get that there's costs. I get that there's costs, and because I've paid for hosting before, I pay to host my websites, not free, right? And so just understanding like all that side of it, it's not that it's not worth it, it's just that it's not in my budget right now. So yeah, but it's like on a wish list. It's like I would love to just check it out. Even I've got to go in and get more information. It floats into my feed every now and again. I go, oh yeah, I want to know more about that, and then I just totally blank on it. I get sucked into whatever else I was doing while I was there, kind of thing, rather than that. Do you know what, Kelly? I may actually make it to close to 50 centimeters before I have to, um, you know, start my decrease. Well, closer to the 50 centimeters than I thought I was. I thought I'd be lucky to get to, like 45. And now I'm thinking I'm going to hit 45 and maybe even 46. I'll get to the end of this row and we'll measure it again. Because we already hit 40. 40 was passed before we started today. So we might even get to that 45, the wishful 45. Wouldn't that be nice? And at one stage I really thought, oh, I'm not going to get anywhere near close to a hut. Yeah, I think you will. The end before the decrease, when you keep weighing that yarn, takes ages. Yeah, it does seem to, rather, doesn't it? Because you're like, oh, I don't want to, you know, have to rip back any rows. So I'll just weigh it again. I'll just weigh it again. I'm going to weigh it one more time. But now I know it's like 0.7 of a gram per round. I know that I've got like, you know, 6 rounds that I can do. Oh, Knitspin Girl says, I think you can buy the individual classes. Well, that's good to know as well. So if you just, you know, there's just one that you would wish you could do, like for me, Franklin Habit. I mean, not I actually don't know anyone else. Like, as in, I haven't looked into it. And I don't know who the other knit stars are this year. But yeah, I definitely would need to look into it. All right, we are at the beginning of the round. Boop, 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 boop. All right, let's do a measure-do. Give it a little shake. Find a flat edge. And flatten out the needles. All right. bulky bit. Well, I'm already at 45-ish. Let me just remeasure that. That just seemed a little off because I've had to go over the bulky bit. Yeah, 44. 44 and a half. Oh, I'm going to make it to 45. I'm so excited. Franklin is teaching shadow knitting. The only other teachers I've heard of are Clara Parks and the girls from Mason Dixon. Okay. I'm not the biggest, like, shadow knitting's interesting, but it's not really something that I suppose I've never done it before. It'd be a technique to learn. I like Clara Parks. I bought one of her books. She writes a really interesting book. And Mason Dixon Knitting, they put out some fun patterns. Well, I'm glad I kept going. Because the pattern told me that I was going to need, you know, to start my decreases at 40 centimeters. But when I did my yarn weighing, it says I've still got, you know, a few more grams to go. Well, it actually, when at the 40 centimeter mark, I still had like 20 to 25 grams left to go. And I was like, I don't need a quarter of the yarn to do this. Holly says, I'd love to learn how to shadow knit. I know that, oh my gosh, Jackie Doyle, she can shadow knit. Because when we did our Zoomy knits blanket or Zoomy blanket, she sent out shadow knit squares for everybody. Mason Dixon Knitting are teaching log cabin knitting. I don't know what that is either. I always think of log cabin as in like a quilting technique. We'll do another measure in a second. I'm starting to freak out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've gotten 5 more centimeters on the hat. You know, obviously I must have gone past my mark for the yarn. I know I haven't in my brain, but I need to see the number. I know I'm probably still got like 2 to 3 grams left to go before I'm even like in danger zone. But I need to just weigh it and reassure myself. Natalie Thomas is teaching a Tunisian crochet class. I really like her work. I don't know Natalie Thomas. I'll have to have a look. Yeah, it's just one of these like amazing things. Like there's so many classes that we could do. And there's phenomenal teachers out there. And I would say some of the best designers are not good teachers, and some of the best good teachers are not necessarily designers. All right. Let's placate Chantel's fear receptors. Should we risk one more row? That would get me down to the 11 grams. Oh, open the cup before you try and drink out of it. What do you reckon? One more row? One more row. Gonna celebrate. Do it. Do one more row. It's tough, toy. Yeah? One more row? Oh, yep. All right. I'm going to do it one more row. Because, like, I only need 10 grams, right? 11 is the buffer. One more row. Kelly says I'll not be held responsible. Okay, Kelly. I'm going to blame Bianca. It's all good. Ah, dear. Yeah, 11 grams is my buffer. So I only needed 10 grams. Well, I think I only need 9. But my brain keeps saying 10. So I think I went from 95 down to 86 off the top of my head. And so I think technically I need 9 grams. So 11 is a buffer. So if I go just under 11, it'll be fine. Even in my stressed out, freaked out brain. I just don't want to go too far under, you know? I don't want to be at like 10 and a half. I want to be at like 10.8 at least. Coming around to the 4. Yep, split the stitch. Try again. Ooh, I split the stitch. Alrighty. This is it. I'm happy with that. I'm happy to start decreasing with that. 11.15. Woot woot. Excuse me, iPad. I require your assistance. I need 2 hands to put the plug back in its cradle. There we go. Alright, let me see if I can. It's a sheet, isn't it? Oh, I think I've shut it all down. I'll need to find the pattern. Files. It'll be a download. There it is. Okay. All right, yeah, so I had 7 stitches as my gauge. Alrighty. All right. We've got our instructions. I'm trying not to have them on the screen because this is a paid for pattern. Oh, look, I love this color. I really do. And it's got so much movement in it. It's sort of, this is closer to real than what it was when I held it up. It's it's called Colson, and it's just a beautiful blend of blues and grays. It was like layered dyeing, so it was basically um, so basically I would have it hanged up, and then I would dip it into one color that I knew there was not enough of that color to give full coverage. And then I'd move the skein around and then dip it into the next color and move the skein around and dip it into the next color. And I would do that, and I would want little speckles of white left through and paler sections of blue, and sometimes the gray would layer on a blue, and that's just how I love this particular style of dyeing. I had a lot of colorways in this particular style of dyeing. It's a lot of work to do it because I would actually color set it between each color. So, well, maybe not quite like the full 30 minutes, but I would give it at least 10 minutes of color setting before I'd move it on because I didn't want to, exhaust into the next pot. So, things like that. Alrighty. Um, I've only knit the one stitch. I'm just reading the instructions. Um, in with this particular one, no, it didn't. I would try to wear gloves, especially with these particular types of dyeing that I did. But B, my hands didn't go in the water a lot. I had so I'd have it in a big loop of yarn with like ties off, like loosely tied off, just so it wouldn't get tangled. But then I'd also have like another big loop on it, and I would hold on to that loop, and that loop was so long that loop didn't go all the way into the water. It was more when I was moving it through the loop. So I was using a cable tie for the big loop, and I would hold onto the cable tie and just, and like once it was basically color exhausted, then I would pull it out and move it around like a quarter turn. And because it was mostly exhausted, there was not much in the way of dye that would come out in the water. So no, usually not. But every now and again, I would do a particular technique that my hands would get covered in dye. Um, I didn't always wear gloves. I would try to wear gloves, but I didn't always. So, but yeah, I loved this colorway. I did so many batches of this colorway, thinking I'd do enough for myself for a sweater, and then never did. So, this is the last ball of this color. Okay, so uh, alrighty, hit one, and then slip, slip, knit, and do that around to each of the markers. Knit to 3 stitches before the marker. Alright. Nice matching borders. Well, I have some fun with the borders, It's just, one of these things. If we can't have a bit of extra color, somewhere, where can we have it? Oh, Louis's gone. I didn't even need the Louis cam. He left us. He deserted us. He came in, was acted all cute, and then left. I'm not bitter at all. Oh, whoops. 3 stitches for the next marker. Okay. Okay, so decrease on both sides of the markers. All right. Trying to not get sucked into the pattern while I'm chatting with you guys, which was really, I just realized I was not talking at all. I'm so sorry about that. I was sucked into what I was doing. And again, but I figured you guys will forgive me at the markers where I'm doing all the increase, all the decreases. Now I already went in and wove in the other end before we got to this point, so I didn't forget, because I would have forgotten. So yeah. Oh, go back in there. There we go. Couldn't figure out why your arms looked Yeah, it's the. I made the mistake of wearing a red top again. Wasn't even thinking. I was like, okay, so the red singlet or the orange singlet is out of rotation for live stream days. I was like, I wonder why I haven't worn this one for a live stream before. And it wasn't until it was too late to get changed that I realized. So yeah, not sunburned. It's just my shirt reflecting. It's like, I don't feel like wearing grey today. I should have just worn grey. So funny. Bye, Holly. Have a good one. I'm just about at the end of this round of decreases. So hopefully by next week, I will have finished this hat. And we'll see how it looks. Probably some photos on the IG once it's all done. All right. The first decrease round is done. And then we've got some even rounds. So I'll just put a couple of stitches here so I can not lose my things. So thank you to everybody for jumping in. No, this one's not going to be for me. Well, if my husband doesn't like it, then it'll be for me. Otherwise, it'll be for my husband. So, yeah, it's called the Musselburgh hat, and it's a big long hat that you actually fold in half inside of itself, so it's double thickness. So I want it ready for him for when he goes on his ski trip with Abby in August. So yeah, then he can have another hat. And this one will be a bit thinner than his other one. His other one's a bit thick. It's a worsted weight hat. So this one's a 4-ply hat. So basically you sort of make it so, you make this big long tube and then you decrease it down so it actually matches on this end. And then you feed one end in through the other and you end up with this really soft, super stretchy hat that's 2 thicknesses. And if you make it long enough, which this one probably won't be, but if you make them long enough, you can actually fold it over so you have 8 over your ears to keep your ears extra warm. So yeah, but it's got some really, I really like the detail of the increases around the top. I'll just, here we go, see how it's got like a nice pattern for the increasing at the top, but then the rest of it's just really nice and plain. So if you've got a fun yarn, you can really do that. But no, I think this wasn't going to be for my husband. We'll see how it goes. If he doesn't like it or doesn't want it, it'll be mine. It'll be mine. It will not go to waste. It will not go to waste. All right, my friendly friends, it is the time to say goodbye. I really appreciate you jumping in and hanging out today. We do have a productivity stream on Saturday. I'll wind up the rest of those squiggly yarns, get that done. Maybe have a look at some patterns for the helix knitting to do that yarn again in a nice stripe that works better for a top that's not so thick and heavy. So yeah, seems foreign to me to talk skiing in August, but I forget you're upside down. We are upside down. We are. All right, and those of you that are in the local Brisbane, Gold Coast, Logan regions tonight, IKEA, from about 6 p.m. up in the food court, you can find us hanging out, chatting, talking yarn, and I'll catch you then. Be good now. Bye.